In my previous videos on topics diabetes mellitus, I have mentioned what is type 1 diabetes mellitus, what is type 2 diabetes mellitus, what is maturity onset diabetes in the young, and I have also mentioned the differences between type 1 and type 2, and I have also mentioned the differences between MODY versus type 1 and type 2 diabetes and all. So, other than type 1, type 2, maturity onset diabetes of the young, I have also mentioned in my previous videos few other names like latent autoimmune diabetes in the adults, which we can call them as LADA, and fibrocalculous pancreatic disease in short form, which we can abbreviate as FCPD, and gestational diabetes mellitus we can abbreviate as GDM. And I have also mentioned one more name called metabolic syndrome, and I have said metabolic syndrome is also one variant in different forms of diabetes mellitus. So in this video we will be seeing what this metabolic syndrome exactly is. So once again, metabolic syndrome is nothing but one form in various forms of diabetes mellitus, and we can call this metabolic syndrome as a syndrome X. Now, a diabetic patient, if he meets certain criteria, then he can be diagnosed with the name metabolic syndrome. So let's see what are the various criteria under which we can put the patient with the diagnosis as metabolic syndrome. First and most important criteria to put a patient under metabolic syndrome diagnosis is obesity. Obesity, as you all know, obesity, if you calculate from the body mass index, which the formula, if we can say, the body mass index, or in short form BMI, equals weight in kgs by height in meter square. So if the value of BMI is more than 30, then the patient is said to be obese. Then what are the other criteria? Along with obesity, if a patient meets 3 or more criteria, which I am going to mention right now, so then the patient can be called to be suffering from what is called metabolic syndrome. So now please see carefully that along with obesity, I have written few other criteria. The first criteria being hypertension of greater than 130 by 85 millimeters of mercury. The next criteria, HDL, high density lipoproteins, in males less than 40 and in females less than 50. The next criteria is triglycerides greater than 150 milligrams per deciliter or 150 milligrams percentage. Fasting blood sugar of greater than 126 milligrams per deciliter, and presence of insulin resistance markers. So along with obesity, if 3 or more of the below criteria, if they are present in a particular patient, then we can call that particular patient to have been suffering with what is called metabolic syndrome. And many of you might get a doubt that in hypertension there is no odd number like 85 or 87 like that. So why is it mentioned here as 85? If you can check the criteria from the diabetic associations, this is the exact criteria given, and it is given as hypertension of greater than 130 by 85. If you check in a mercury sphygmomanometer, you don't have the odd values but only the even values, but here you can remember it as 130 by 85, which is an odd number. And as you all know, HDL is a good cholesterol. So HDL, if it is more, if it is good for the heart. HDL, if it is less, it is bad for the heart, as we all know. And here the HDL values are less in males and less in females. So in this criteria we have mentioned so many things, like first thing is obesity, second is hypertension, third thing is abnormal lipid profiles, fourth is hyperglycemia. So carbohydrates and lipids are deviated. Along with hypertension, there is obesity, and there is insulin resistance markers also. So this could be considered not just as the diabetes mellitus, but as a metabolic syndrome. As the syndrome, the name suggests, it's a group of things, right? So obesity with 3 or more of these criteria if they are present in a patient, then the patient is said to be having metabolic syndrome. As you see, in all diabetics, the fasting blood sugar is greater than 126 milligrams per deciliter. Greater than 126 milligram per deciliter is for sure diabetes mellitus, if there is presence of symptoms, right? So you see more FBS greater than 126 milligram per deciliter, not only in metabolic syndrome but in all forms of diabetes mellitus like type 1, type 2, MODY, LADA, FCPD, then this what we are discussing, the metabolic syndrome, exactly. Now the dyslipidemia or the abnormal lipid profiles, we have already mentioned in a previous video. In type 2 diabetes mellitus, diabetic dyslipidemia is seen, and it is the reason for atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. So abnormal lipid profile is also present in this metabolic syndrome. In my previous videos, I have told insulin resistance markers are present in type 2 diabetes mellitus but absent in type 1 diabetes and in maturity onset diabetes of the young. But in metabolic syndrome, again the insulin resistance markers are present. What are these insulin resistance markers? They are nothing but on the back of the neck usually you see acanthosis nigricans and skin tags. But you see, in other forms of diabetes mellitus, like in type 1, obesity is absent. In maturity onset diabetes in the young, obesity is absent. In type 2 diabetes mellitus, obesity may be present or may be absent. But in metabolic syndrome, obesity is present for sure. In type 2 diabetes, we have said there also we will check for diabetic dyslipidemia. So we will be checking for LDL levels, VLDL levels, small dense LDL levels, triglyceride levels, so many things. And here we are saying in metabolic syndrome also we will be checking for the lipid profiles. So we might get a doubt what is the difference. But in type 2 diabetes mellitus, we are not mentioning this hypertension, we are not mentioning there is obesity for sure. But in metabolic syndrome, we are mentioning this thing called hypertension, and we are also mentioning this sure shot thing called obesity. So these both diagnoses like type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome looks almost similar, but both are two different things. So that's why the different names like type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Thank you.